Welcome to Talk Tennis. I am going to introduce this episode a little bit because I didn't have a chance to really intro it when we were recording. In this episode of Talk Tennis, I had the chance to talk to the world's greatest doubles team, the Bryan brothers. And if you know anything about their career, you know that they are from California. So they came back to California. They both live in Florida now. Fun fact, they're on opposite sides of Florida, which I thought was kind of crazy. But they came back to California to come together to get honored for the Ojai tournament. They were the guest of honors this year. And if you guys don't know anything about the Ojai tournament, I am going to make you do some studying and Google the Ojai. If you go to the ojai.net, you can start learning all about this tournament. But it is the longest running tennis tournament in the United States. And this year, we were celebrating 122 years, and the Bryan brothers were the honorees. So that meant that they had a chance to come back to Ojai and celebrate with all their friends. Generations of tennis players. They have won 8 Ojai titles, which is quite a lot. And to just paint the picture a little bit for you, if you have never been to the Ojai, if you've never been to Ojai, period, it is a small little town in California, right off the coast between Ventura and Santa Barbara. It's about 8,000 people living there. It's one road in, one road out. You are surrounded by these beautiful mountains. There are oak trees everywhere. And for this week, every year, the town is buzzing and all things tennis are happening. So this tournament is situated in this public park, which is absolutely beautiful. It's called Libby Park, and they have signs of years of photos dating back from the 90s, 70s, last year. I mean, I spent over a half hour just looking at pictures, finding my friends from the juniors. I actually lived in Ojai for 2 years and went to the Weill Academy. So it's always super nostalgic for me to go back, even more nostalgic to go back during this tournament. It's super fun. There are players from almost every kind of division playing. They host the Pac-12 Conference Championships. They host the D3 champions. They host the CIF boys. There's junior tournaments. There's open tournaments. It's literally just a mecca of tennis. And it's so awesome. They have all these traditions. So in the morning, you can go over and have Pixie orange juice. The pixies are grown in the mountains of Ojai. And then at a certain point in time during the day, it will switch over to tea time where you can go into the tent, have tea and cookies, and literally feet away, there are tennis matches being played. So at this time, we had a chance to talk to the Bryan brothers. The Pac-12 semifinals were going on as we were chatting. So if the audio is a little bit fuzzy or you're hearing some screams, know that it was a very tough, tight match. The audience was loving every minute of it. And I had a chance to steal away Mike and Bob for a few minutes to talk to me about being honored at the Ojai, what the tournament means to them. And then also we talked about some of the things going on in their life now. They've obviously retired, but still have a huge presence in tennis, captaining the Davis Cup team, and the Olympics are coming up. So they're working with a lot of the up and coming Americans, getting them on board. And we also talked about gear. So if you know these guys at all and you know what they've been playing with through the years, you know they've been with the Baron Prince, they've been with Wilson, and they now are Salenko players, which is awesome. They literally talk through why they made the switch, how they made the switch, and even give us some insight on their stringing and what they're using now. So all in all, super fun chat, just giving you guys a little bit of an intro to give you a heads up, warm you up for this conversation. So let's go check it out.
You in San Luis?
Yes. Yeah.
That racket got there quick.
Wait, so yeah, I need to hear the story.
I ordered it on Tuesday night when I realized I didn't have her racket.
That's crazy. What? First of all, how'd you forget her racket?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's brutal. Because I took all the Slinkos because we all use them. She's the only one that uses a different racket.
What is she using?
The Rafa Pure Arrow.
Of course.
I don't know why. But anyway, so I ordered it. I am like, okay, to this warehouse we'll get it the quickest because especially being in San Luis.
Right.
And then arrived last night, and then she went out and hit a couple balls, and then she's like, I love this racket, I'm gonna rock. So she had a good attitude about it. That's good.
Yeah. We're now filming a commercial for Tennis Warehouse, which you guys have done a few before.
Yeah, right. I love those.
Well, I'll intro us officially, but
Okay.
welcome to Talk Tennis. This is the Tennis Warehouse podcast. I just finished listening to your podcast with Andy.
And how'd you like it?
Awesome.
I wasn't sure how that would be received.
I actually, no, I loved it. I listened to it by myself and then picked up Troy and
Put
we
the
listened to
overhead
it
away.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here
No.
for all the stories.
Yeah, Roddick. We were at his house, and he was telling us about possibly starting the podcast.
Yeah.
And then it came out, and we loved it. And I was a little scared to text Andy that we loved it because I knew we'd go, "Hey guys, you want to be on it?"
Yeah.
So then I said, "Hey, you're doing a great job." He's like, "Hey, can you come on this Friday?" But you're gonna have to let it rip and be honest and truthful. I'm like, uh-oh, because we definitely have a couple stories that
We definitely kept
we still
a couple
kept
in
it
the
pretty
bag.
clean.
There's
We kept
still
a couple
few
in the bag.
for the
Yeah.
next
But
one.
we shared one we've never really shared with anyone.
Yeah.
The knockout.
That one,
Yeah.
legendary. Well, we're here at the Ojai in Libby Park, and just tell me how magical it is. Like, I feel like I've been doing like these podcasts with some people around my age, like you guys. I just had Kim Kleisters on,
Cool.
so I'm
Yeah.
feeling very like nostalgic
Yeah.
and like just being here. I keep saying that I keep getting goosebumps,
Yeah.
and my picture's not up on the board, but yours is up there like 8 times. I think that's what I heard. So tell me about being back in Ojai.
I mean, there's nothing like this tournament. You try to tell people like from Europe or even around the States about it and try to explain it, and they don't understand that this small, beautiful town in the foothills of California, the whole town rallies, and they use every court in the whole city. And just walking in here, like it's Wimbledon almost, right? It
Yeah.
just has a special feel. We've been here, last time was 27 years ago.
Yep.
It looks exactly the same.
It does.
There's maybe a new scoreboard over here, but we grew up here running around, and it has this mystique, like you hear, if you can win an Ojai title, even play at Ojai is pretty
Right?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we watched our parents play it. My mom played Billie Jean King one year in the finals. My dad, he was always trying to win an Ojai title, never did.
Came up short.
And I remember there was a match where he was playing at a private court, and I think he had a match point, and he served at an acorn, came out of an oak tree,
Yeah.
and hit him in the face, and he double faulted. And then we were little guys. We were always running around, and we had these little mirrors. We were shining in the sun, a beam of light in his opponent's eyes to help him win.
Then we got bored and we started shining in his eyes. Yeah. He didn't like that.
I love that.
But yeah, just watching like the great players and the legends, and it really inspired us to not only want to play here, but just keep going. And we really fell in love with the game here, and just coming back and having the tea and the cookies.
Yeah.
They still have some of the same cookies that are our favorites to this day.
A lot of cool traditions at the Ojai.
Right.
And it's like jumping in a time machine and going back in time. I was looking at the book, all the black and white photos. They were playing tennis here in the 1890s or even before on these courts. Instead of cars, they had horses and carriages. So a lot of ghosts of tennis legends here in this building that we're in. Yeah.
And it's over 120 years, and you guys are the honorees tonight. Like, everyone's celebrating you, so how special is that?
That's cool. We never dreamed about being honorees for a tournament, but once Mark Weil, he called us last year. He's like, "You want to come back?" And we just jumped all over it because we're like, "This is cool." We're doing it at the Ojai Museum across the street. That's probably been there for a few years, right? And they want our band to play, so we're gonna have a good time. Steve Weissman's coming
Yes.
from
man.
the Tennis Channel,
Nice.
and we have a lot of like aunts and uncles and just cousins coming out of the woodworks.
Nice.
And so yeah, we're gonna really soak it up. We're excited. I slept in my my house with my parents last night in my bedroom, and it's the same bed. It's the same little twin bed. It's pretty hard as a rock, a little dusty, but it brought back,
You have the electric blanket?
yeah. So I looked up on the wall, still same Agassi posters. It's cool.
That's what I was saying to you earlier, that I went to Weil in 1999, and
Whoa.
I remember. Yes, I know.
Was Dimitrov there yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I'm glad you know
Yeah.
that, because I'll drop it, and people are like, "No, that's not true." Like, his coach came the coach that brought him was, I think, 2001 maybe?
Yeah. What about Travis Redmeyer?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a Brian Wilson. There's
Phil
a lot.
Stolt, was he there?
Phil
too?
Stolt,
Yeah.
yep. I was talking about
Those are the glory days.
the
of
runs,
program.
I know. June Jacob. I mean, there was,
Yeah.
I was like getting very emotional looking at all the pictures of my friends and my roommates. And I always said, I remember going and watching you guys too. We would go watch you guys play Challengers, play at Stanford, and it was just such a cool time. And it feels like tennis is like electric again.
Yeah, no, I remember when Mark Weil came and he's like, I want to start this academy, you know, like have it be one of the big academies because there wasn't really a great one on the West Coast. And he's done an amazing job, and now he started school.
Have you been over there?
And we've seen it
I was
for
there,
a while.
I was
but-
there 4 years ago. It's grown.
They have their own courts now.
Yeah.
Like,
Before
what?
it was
Yeah.
just courts borrowed from the club, and now they built their own courts. They got 70 kids living there.
There were like
it's international.
17 of us back
Kids from
then.
all over the world. So it's cool to see that.
Yeah,
thing
he loves
take off.
tennis. He's got a lot of passion.
Yeah.
And
loves you guys.
we've been keeping in touch for the last 6 months to a year. And he's excited and we're excited, and I
Nice.
love the guy. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pivot and hopefully ask some questions that you haven't been asked yet today. You know, Tennis Warehouse loves gear, so I want to hear you guys talk through some of the different rackets that you used through your career, why you made some switches, and then I want to hear about your Solinco stuff that's now. So, what's the first racket you ever remember using?
We were using the Wilson Pro Staff 6.1 maybe stretch. We used it at Stanford. It was that black, red, and yellow racket. Kind of looked like the old Sampras. That was the first time we used a stretch racket. It was a half inch longer. Then we switched to the Surge.
Yep.
Remember the first time we switched to Surge was at Orlando in '99. We actually made our first pro final there. Lost to Courier and Woodbridge.
Okay.
Then we went on. I think they kept painting it, to look like different rackets. I don't know if they do that anymore. But in 2000, I want to say 7, we were having a great year, and I think James Blake signed with Prince, but couldn't get used to the racket. Gave all the money back, and then they offered it to us, and we were like, "Whoa, we got James Blake type money," So we actually switched rackets in the middle of the year,
Man.
and it's very unusual. But we were having such a great year. We felt like we'd already clinched number 1.
Yeah.
So Los Angeles term was the first time we grabbed this Prince Speedport Black. Completely different from the racket we were using. It had huge power holes, very lively, and tough to control. You actually got a couple miles an hour on the serve.
Yeah. It was a
bonus.
rocket launcher.
Okay.
It gave us a lot of power, which I don't think we needed a lot of power. We still needed in doubles. There's still a lot of finesse too. But we.
But it was our
we got sold on it by Prince. They're like, the technology's off the charts. You guys are gonna love it. And the first couple months we were like, damn, this is pretty cool.
But we actually won all of our tournaments right out of the gates because we were so confident.
It was a honeymoon period too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like,
We were the best team
But
by
then-
far.
in Cincinnati, we had a match point. I lined up for my bread and butter. The shot I make every time, it's just my money maker.
Yeah.
And I hit it the same as I always hit it, and it went 3 inches long.
Oh no.
And then it got in my head. It was like it planted the seed. I'm like, wait, how? That was a match point, and then it put that little chink in my armor, and I was like, and then we started doubting
my
it.
shoulder.
Yeah, then
Really?
Then I started getting pain in my shoulder, and then I had to miss a couple tournaments. We didn't win a slam for like a year, and we finally we won a U.S. Open on fumes.
Yeah.
And then
We needed cold days because on a hot day I would fly too much.
but then we switched to switched to the Pro Ignite,
Okay.
which was way less power, kind of less technology, and it just felt more true. And then we went on a tear, and I think 6 years in a row we finished number 1 in the world. But then as the game started evolving and we got older, we needed more power, but we were so stubborn because we're like, hey, we've been number 1 for so long.
Yeah.
It was hard to switch. But then at 40 years old,
I told you on the practice court, I'm like, hey man, we need a little help here. Everyone's using these Babolat's and we're using this little pea shooter.
Yeah.
It's thin and the sweet spot's smaller, and we're like, hey man, just try this. I think I went to I might have ordered them on Tennis Warehouse because we weren't sponsored, But I got a couple of Babolat Pure drives.
We got it the week before the Australian Open.
Yeah.
And we was like, we have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Like, last year wasn't that great. Let's just see what we can do. And we started winning again. We made the finals at Indian Wells, like won Miami, won Monte Carlo, we're in the finals in Madrid. And we were like having this renaissance.
We started using, I think that's when we started using Hyper G too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
we
there you
started
go.
with the string in
using
there.
Hyper G. We were always kind of Luxlon and gut.
Yeah.
We'd go gut in the mains, Luxlon in the prod. We strung pretty loose. We'd be like lower 50s, upper 40s, right? That's pretty.
We were way
Or,
looser
or,
than
or,
that.
or lower 40s.
Low 40s.
Low 40s.
High 30s.
What?
And we would like be so precise on the stringing that, you know, one night we could feel it loosen up. So we'd like those new strings. So we were burning through a lot of Babolat VS gut. Luckily we're getting it for free, but
Yeah, we
From Thomas
did.
Warehouse.
maybe a lot of cows died for that. I don't know where they get the gut.
Vegans, close your ears.
Yeah.
Or was it cat gut?
Oh gosh.
But
Cats.
yeah, I always felt like it was just like really good feel to having the gut in the main. It was easy on the arm. Easy power.
Yeah.
And then the poly on the cross gave us that little bit of bite and spin.
we got some cool shape with that. It was the Pure Drive Babolat.
Regular
and-
length or extended?
It was.
We were always a little bit longer. I think we were a half inch longer.
Okay.
And we used a pretty heavy racket. We were about 360 to 365. The guys from P1 always did our rackets. We put a lot of lead tape in the handle. We put like 8 strips of lead tape in the handle. So we like for some reason it just felt really solid. And then we do like on the tapered beam, like on the sides too.
But I still felt like the Babolat Pure Drive had a little bit, sometimes too much pop. You know, like a hot day, it's flying, it's going over the baseline. So, Solinco started sending us prototypes of rackets a few years ago, and they felt okay. It wasn't perfect, but I know Roman Procol was working with them in New York, and he finally found the right mix of power and control and sent us this Blackout. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
It's the Pure Drive with control. And it's got the power. It's got the power. You got everything. And then we started using all polyester, Hyper G,
Yeah.
a really thin gauge of that right when we retired. And we're like, oh my God, we're actually hitting better now than when we were pros. And we're like, dang it, I wish this would have come out earlier. But no, like hats off to Solinco and what they've been able to do with this racket. I know players are very particular about their frames. It's hard to get players to switch. But like everyone I talk to, I got, guys, I'm not lying.
No, I'm with you.
Like this is
They're
this is
making
it.
good rackets.
This is it.
Yeah.
It's a great racket. I mean, I've only missed like 10 balls since I retired.
I don't think I've missed.
And we're undefeated as retired guys. We won we've gone to all the tournaments and it's literally like you can take a month off and come back and it is so sweet and pure. And it's like it doesn't go out.
I know.
It can't
doesn't
go
go
It's
out.
a good mix with the racket and the string. It's just.
What's the
like-
tension you guys are at right now?
I go 46 now.
I'm 45,
Okay.
and it's great on the arm because when I was playing, I was like, I was getting wrist problems. I had a lot of cortisone shots, and it's soft. It's soft on the arm, which was great. And then you can add the weight. You can put that. What do they call it?
The butt cap.
the
That's
butt cap,
5
which is
grams or 10 grams.
really cool.
It's got
Yeah.
a cool name. What's the name?
You know the name of the butt cap?
It's got a cool name. We always forget it.
Weighted module.
We do like
Yeah, weighted module.
I got
weighted
you.
module.
Yeah, the weighted module.
I got you.
That's it.
Sounds like a NASA space capsule.
It's so interesting too because people are going to be like, wait, they went from natural gut to full poly, and
Yeah.
you're getting older.
That takes a couple days.
Yeah.
And I just talked to Roger about this because
Okay.
when you're using the gut, you use that springy feel, and it's great for the volleyers and guys that want that precision. But I told him like, hey, dude, switch to this polyester, all of it. It's going to take you 2 days. It's going to feel kind of dead. You're going to be like hesitant, but then a whole new world opens up after 2 days, and then you're going to be like, wow, I can swing out, and it feels safe. And he's like, how's it going to feel on volleys? I'm like, I have no problem hitting volleys right now with this. So
That's awesome.
I like that whole feel with the
Nice.
all Hyper G.
Cool. Well, I was going to just have you guys wrap up and talk a little bit about the Davis Cup experience as well as Olympics. You guys are in such a cool position right now.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're excited to. I mean, Bob's the captain of Davis Cup, and he's brought me along to be the assistant massage therapist. I know I dropped that line on the podcast.
You did.
With Andy Roddick, but yeah, I'm helping out too. My focus is get the doubles point, which is 1/3. So I mean, we're stacked as Americans. We're lucky. There's 13 guys in the top 100. It's just getting the guys super excited about Davis Cup because the schedule's like these weeks are just slid in there. Right after the Open, we're going to China, and if we get through China, then we're in Malaga, and that's where the guys want to be, is playing for the title. It's just you have to get there, right?
Yeah.
You have to qualify. They've already played over in Lithuania, and so just getting the right guys that gel together, and then firing them up, because last year we were playing in Croatia for not a lot of American fans,
Right.
and so you could see they're a little road weary. And so it's our job to just keep that fire lit.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of young guys that they're kind of Davis Cup veterans at this point. With Francis and Tommy and Fritz have all played for a number of years. Korda's kind of a new guy, very smooth. He can do it all with the ball. And then we have Ben Shelton, who's never played, but now he's the #1 ranked American.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of firepower. Be fun to see him with the Stars and Stripes on his back and see what he could do. But he seems like he'd be a great leader, and I know he won the championship for University of Florida, so he's been in these team environments before. So interesting to see.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank you.
I know Stanford is playing out there, so I'm going to
Yeah,
go
we're
let
gonna
you
check it
go.
out.
Yeah, go check it
Good
out.
to see you
Thanks
again. Good to see
Of
you.
course.
All right.
Good times.
Thanks.
Happy hunting.
I got you.